Hey everybody, just want to introduce myself. My name's Brian. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania. With everything going on with this group and the groups that I've been following regarding basically the rip-offs that Walmart and other stores have been doing as far as weight and treating their employees, I just wanted to take a second to share my story as a former Walmart associate from January of 2026 through July of 2026. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, but I do want to make sure I give you the details that are pertinent so you can get a kind of inside glimpse as to what goes on. Um, little, yeah, I want to make sure that I'm not gonna name my specific store because there are some great hardworking people there, and I really don't think most of what I'm going to discuss is the fault of people on the ground at that store, and I don't want to give them a bad name. So I'm not going to name my store specifically. Just rather, I'm going to speak generally about my situation and why I feel it's wrong, and I'm sure it's happening to a lot of other people, so I wanted to share my story. So I was hired on January 26th of 2026 as a digital personal shopper. So basically, I worked in the online pickup and delivery department. So yeah, I was one of those annoying people with those big metal carts in your way. I know, I get it, but I was shopping for customers, for deliveries and customer pickups. Then I was also responsible for assembling those orders to take out to the customer or delivery driver, and then ultimately what we call dispense to the customer or the delivery driver. So that's when we come wheeling out that dolly with those big blue totes on it and load up your car. So that's basically what I did every day. Um, I actually enjoyed it. Not the best job I've had in my life, wage-wise. Started at $16 an hour after a month or so. Because of the review period, I got bumped up to 16 an hour. Okay, great, I'll take it. Not going to kick a gift horse in the mouth. That's cool. After about 3 months maybe not even that, I was actually asked to start training other employees. So I started training them first in the art of picking, so going out and doing the shopping in the store. And then later, I actually was training people in the dispense room, we call it. That's where we're putting together all the orders. So all of your frozen and chilled is meeting up with all of your ambient, your room temperature items. So we're putting that all together as one order when we know that you're close. Okay. So I ended up training people there as well. Actually, a couple other associates said that leadership had told them that I was one of their better trainers. We'll say, I'm not going to say best. I'm not going to toot my own horn that way, but I was entrusted to train employees in multiple areas. So why am I not there anymore? Well, if you remember, we had a heat wave that started on July 2nd in the Midwest, lasted through the 5th or 6th, give or take. So I was working Thursday, July 2nd. It was a very, very busy day for a Thursday. So much so that our management had actually written on the assignment board that we were permitted all day long to split our lunch break in half. So we could split our hour lunch break into 2 half-hour periods so that they could maximize productivity. So we were very busy, and I was only shopping in the store that day. But it was very hot. So hot that around all of our freezers and everything, you'd see these dry packs to soak up water that was condensation that was coming out of the freezers and coolers. So it was you can imagine it was still very hot and humid in the store. I tried to stay hydrated as best I could all day. I think I drank probably 6 32-ounce of my 32-ounce bottles of water, ice water, all day. I think I only urinated maybe once. Show you how dehydrated I probably was. At the end of that day when I got home, I had no appetite to eat all day, but when I got home, I felt incredibly ill, and then I was having dry heaves. Obviously, I hadn't eaten anything, and if I was able to vomit at all, it was only water that was coming out. So I woke up the next morning. I was scheduled for Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and the 4th. Um, we knew they were going to be busy days. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, I probably could have. Would I have been useful at work? Probably not. My body just had no energy. So I did call out that day. Didn't feel great that whole day either. Woke up on Saturday, the morning of July 4th. Still the same. Didn't feel myself. I did not go to the hospital or anything because they tell you on day one that Walmart doesn't take doctor's notes. So I didn't feel like it was doing me any good. So I was just trying to limp through as best I could. But I didn't have it in me. I couldn't go in. Now the thing about this is those 2 days, the 3rd and 4th, are what Walmart considers event days. So basically busy days when they want all hands on deck. So whereas you would normally get 1 attendance point for calling out, on these days it's double. So I received 2 points per day, so a total of 4 points for calling out those 2 days because I was sick from the job, from running my butt off on Thursday. Literally, I was running from minute 1 to the end of my shift. So I called out those 2 days. I knew that it was going to result in points. I just couldn't physically do it. Now, I did have 4 attendance points on my record prior to that. Now, a little about that, though, I was coming up on my 6-month anniversary, which would have been July 22nd. And 3 out of those 4 points that were on my record would have fallen off probably by the first week in August, because 3 of those 4 points were acquired during my first couple weeks of employment when I just didn't have the money to get an Uber on Sunday. The buses don't run on Sunday or anything. I don't have a car right now. So 3 of those would have been falling off then. Now I had Sunday scheduled off, so I took that off. Woke up on Monday morning, still wasn't feeling great, but I knew I could force myself to go into work at some point. I ended up going in a little late, so I scheduled 9 to 6. I ended up going in at clocked in at about 12:30. But I knew that I had what's called protected PTO time, PPTO, in the amount of 4 hours and 56 minutes. So I had the time to cover that, which would mean there would be no point for that tardiness at all. I worked my shift till the end, almost the very end of my shift. At about 10 till 6, I was asked to go see my coach, which is the department manager, in the administration office. I did. I had an idea what was going on, and I was pulled in, and I was told that I was being terminated due to time and attendance. I didn't argue. I didn't put up a stink. I didn't cause a scene. So much so that my manager technically was supposed to escort me out of the building, but he said, "I'm not going to do that to you as long as you don't cause a scene." I said, I don't have anything to cause a scene about. I said, it is what it is at this point. But then I got to thinking about it more when I got home, and I said, I got sick because of work and had to call off on those days because I got sick because of work. So I said, I'm going to dispute this termination. So I went through what's called their open door process, which is their HR process. Told them the whole story like I'm telling you now. And they went through their investigation. They came back to me and said, mind you, I had actually had a conversation with the store manager prior to going to Open Door, and he had told me that, his quote was, even if we got rid of those points for the 2 days that you called off, you still have that half a point from that coming in late on that Monday. I said, but I had the PPTO time to cover that. Oh, well, I didn't see that. I'm going to have to get with my HR person to discuss that. In the meantime, I went through the open door process. They did their investigation, got back to me, and told me that they were unable to overturn the termination. And I questioned the HR analyst at the end, and I said, but I don't understand. The manager said that even if, basically indicated that they had the ability to get rid of those points. And she said, well, yes, but you'd still have that half a point from Monday. I said, but I had the protected paid time off sufficient to cover that. And her response was only, we did not find evidence to substantiate that through our investigation. That prompted me to see if I could find evidence of that. So I went back and I got my access to my pay stubs, printed out. I saved my last pay stub, which clearly shows a PPTO balance of 4.56, which is 4 hours and 56 minutes, sufficient to cover the 3.5 hours that I was tardy that day. I think, okay, I'm great, right? So I call Open Desk again, and I escalate it, and they escalate it to what's called their senior level management review. They never reached out to me at all. I told them when I was filing that I had new evidence. Never reached out to me at all. I simply got an email earlier this week that said that although multiple individuals have reviewed this case, we're going to stand by the original decision. Again, not talking to me at all, not indicating that they looked at the new evidence or anything of the sort. So that's where we're at right now. So, and I want to add a little caveat to this. Back in April, maybe early May, an associate of mine actually threatened me physically while we were working. I immediately went to the administration office, reported it. That associate became hostile with management and was escorted out of the building. At that time, myself and all my fellow coworkers thought that, hey, he threatened a coworker. He's not going to be working here anymore. So a month goes by, he's not there. I have a day off, and I come back in, and as soon as I clock in, team lead tells me that my coach needs to talk to me. I go and talk to him in a private room, and he said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that so-and-so is back. And I wanted to let you know before you saw it on your own. Okay. I wasn't happy about it, but what are you going to do? Somehow HR brought him back after physically threatening an employee. That day, that same associate began making a hostile work environment by going to other employees and saying, when they asked where he had been, his standard response was, well, we have a tattletale here, so I had some time off. So from day one, or day two for him back, hostile work environment for me as far as I look at it. A few days later, maybe a week later or so, we were up in the produce section, and he actually physically assaulted me by throwing a hip check into me, I guess you would say, into my lower back area. I immediately went to my coach and reported that, and reported the time and what the location was so that he could review the cameras. And I think it was less than a week later that he was actually gone. But why was I put in that position in the first place? But yet, I'm a hard worker, somebody that you trust to train people, and you refuse to review my attendance policy. I had no other disciplinary action whatsoever. Clean record. Strictly attendance here. So that's just an inside glimpse of what they do to their employees. So now they have me in quite a pickle because I was the only source of income for my household. So now my mom, myself, my 2 siblings, and our 9 fur babies haven't been able to pay rent. we're 2 months behind on rent, soon to be 3, because I haven't had any income coming in. And I've been looking. I'm applying to Aldi and a bunch of other places. But they have us on the verge of being kicked out of our house. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm more worried about my animals than us. We can survive, but what these animals depend on us. I didn't want to do this, but people need to know. Walmart doesn't, they don't care about their people. I thought they did. I drank the Kool-Aid. I bought the shirts. I bought the merchandise. I was living Walmart. Every day I had something Walmart on. Walmart hat, Walmart shirt. Stuff that I bought out of my own pocket. I drank the Kool-Aid. And this is what I've gotten from it. So think about that when you're thinking about this boycott and whatever. Think about people like me that are being put in this position. Don't even think about me. Think about the families and the fur babies and the other people and animals and things that are affected by these heartless decisions that they make. And I was a good worker. Let that sink in. Walmart, you need to do better. Treat your people better, because you have people like me that have the work ethic and that care. And this is how you respond, and this is how you treat them. Do better, Walmart. Thank you, guys. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. I just wanted it to be heard. Thank you.